Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey.
Hey, girl.
Girl. Hey.
What's
Girl.
your
Girl.
I did.
I got that tea, girl.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
It's the Hey Girl Hey podcast, the Urban Media today. So, just kind of recapping last week. The big discussion. I even got into not a heated discussion, but I even got into like a back and forth with my sister. Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter. And you
Yes,
know where All Lives Matter came from.
from the
All
whites.
Lives Matter came from some sensitive folk that was just like, why are you focusing on just this one area?
Sorry.
Why can't all lives matter? It's like we're not
I
saying that.
when people say that,
We're not saying that. What are we
and
saying, Jerry?
and I see different examples. You know what I mean, and the best example is that I hear, let's say you broke one of your bones, right? Let's say you broke your left bone in your foot, and you get to the doctor, and the doctor's like, oh, I just want to look at this. Well, no, let me just back up. I've seen people say, if you break a bone in your body, they're just going to look at the one, but you're like, well, all bones matter. You know what I mean? But right, I understand that, but we're looking at this one because this is the problem. And I thought about it, I'm like, okay, even if someone had used something like, oh, a house is burning down, we got to
Yeah.
save the house. But
What about my house?
all these houses,
But your house
those
is not
houses are
burning.
fine. They're
Right.
not the trouble. This
Right.
house is burning,
Yeah.
so the term all lives matter comes from some ignorant people who don't understand the concept of why we are saying Black Lives Matter. We know all lives matter. We're not saying all lives don't matter. We're saying Black Lives Matter because Black lives are the ones that's being affected right now.
Mhm.
Black lives are the ones that are being killed by cops for no apparent reason, or there's hate groups against, all races, but especially African Americans. So yes, our lives don't seem to matter to people. So that's why we are saying Black Lives Matter. And for
Right.
someone to all lives matter is very ignorant of them. They don't they know the reason why we're saying it, but like you said, they are very sensitive, and that gets under my
I
skin.
see. Breathe.
So
Sis.
bad. Like it get like I said, I hate it. Like because you really
I
don't
get it.
understand.
Right. I mean, I have an issue with that when you say all lives matter because you're negating the fact that Black lives have been affected. So
Yes.
that's to me, that's a smokescreen to say, okay, yeah, whatever. Let's just shoot this underneath the rug. All lives matter. No, and back to your analogy, which was a good one about the bones. Like all of the bones are there, but if there's one broken, we have to really
Yeah.
focus on that one broken bone. All of them could be affected as a result of the one bone broken.
Yep.
So, we have to look at that. But when I hear people say that, it just burns me up because yeah, all lives do matter. That's a given. And
Yeah.
if everybody felt that way, then Black lives wouldn't be on the attack the way it is.
Yeah.
So, when you say that, that's just, like that's just a simple word to say all lives matter. Yes, it does. But there's people that don't know that all lives matter. There's people that think that just their lives matter and Black lives don't. And we
Yeah.
have to tell them they do.
Well, what
They do.
happens when a Black person says,
Oh,
if I hear Black Lives Matter one more time, it's
Mm-hmm.
all lives matter.
Mm-hmm.
That's something my sister said, who is the mother of 3 boys, Black boys, and has
Yeah.
a husband, a Black husband.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to her, because people were like, no, you don't mean that. And she's like, I said what I said, very angry. My sister needs hugs, like a lot.
I'm sending her one.
She needs a hug. Um, but I had to explain to her, like you use the word negate. When you use all lives matter, it's kind of like, well, let me take up for you. Let me let me tell you, it's not really about that. Don't be so selfish.
yeah.
Don't be selfish in what you're saying. Everybody is affected. And so what we are saying, those who are in support of the movement right now, we need to focus on this broken bone. We need to focus on this house that is burning down. Yeah, I love your lawn furniture. That's great. It's amazing. I love that. But this house over here is burning down. And we need to figure out how we can get the people out, how we can fix it, how we can. So yeah, everything matters. Yes. Please don't ignore the fact.
Right.
That
there's some people that just don't get it if it doesn't.
they don't.
But it doesn't really affect
attention to not want to get it.
Right.
Yeah, they don't want to get it.
There's something that's just ignorant, just blind, not knowing, but then you're just like, nah, F that.
Like
Right.
that.
I'm tired of hearing that. Just think, let me ask y'all something. If those police officers who were charged for killing George Floyd, charged, not convicted, charged, if they were Black officers and George Floyd were white,
oh, they would have got
the exact same scenario happened.
Oh, they'd be under the jail right now.
We're not a racist platform. We're just having conversation. We're not a racist platform at all. We're just having conversation. So
no, stating facts.
You don't need to send any emails. But like, can you imagine?
Yeah.
They would. Oh my God.
I mean, they already double standard. States were closed in the pandemic, and they were shouting. But could you imagine if a white man put his knee? I mean, a Black man put his knee on a white man's neck, and he was saying, "I can't breathe," and he didn't care.
Yeah.
Imagine what the world would be right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Ooh.
Well, it's double standards with everything. I mean, like a white man could put his knee on a Black man's neck, but a white man can also go to a state building with guns and hand grenades and everything and scream at the people. When he can scream and put him right in front of his face. But if a Black man were to do that, they would have been shot. They would have never made it to the steps, for one thing. First of all, they would have been in their car. They would have been riding behind them, shooting the car before they even made it to the destination.
They wouldn't have, it's double standard. It's
right. We know it's double standard, but then there's our own, like Kiki, you were talking about your sister. There's our own that feels a certain way. And it takes us a minute because we got a lot going on as Black people. We have a lot going on. So it takes us a minute we got our own, not that this is not our thing, but personally, we have things that are going on with us that sometimes we can't even look outside of what's going on in front of us to even comment or make the proper comment on that. And some things have to come to us personally, like we have to have it happen to us. And that's sad to say because, whenever what's his name? George Floyd was laying there, he was calling for his mother. Eric Garner's mother said that it sounded as if that was my son's voice, and her son. Yeah, she said, I heard my son when I said that. If this wouldn't have happened, would she be in the movement like she is now? Like I hate to even think that. Like I even think when that's what really got me, because I didn't see the video because I hadn't been watching so much television. I didn't see the video of this until a day after it had happened. And I was just like, oh my God, like this is really ridiculous. And instantly my nephew and other people came to my head, and I started to think, wow, this is closer than I thought. He uttered the same words as Eric Garner when he said, I can't breathe. But last year before last, that man said that we didn't get the reaction that we have now.
Yeah.
It takes some of us a while. We can't be mad at people. It took us a while. That man said he couldn't breathe. And then, it's done. All these other people, it takes a minute for people to get it. And, and when it comes to our people, it takes us a minute. It takes us a minute.
You mentioned your nephew, and Jerry, you have a younger brother who's in college. Down south. Is he down south? So the conversations that we're having with our young Black men, I have a son who's 22. Are we having more conversations about the problems that we're having, that our people are having with police officers, versus the problems that our Black sons, nephews, brothers are having in our own communities? I feel like we are preparing them more for the situations that are happening with the police officers versus what the situations they could be enduring in our own communities with the Black on Black crime.
Yes. I had posted something similar to that. And the difference is, I would say, I guess you can like, there's more of an outcome with the Black on Black crime. You know, like if someone, you know, something was to happen today, you know, somebody got killed in a Black community, you know, we see it, they're convicted, they're in jail for life. When a white cop does it, we have all this proof and nothing's being done. So we're preparing them for, you know, the unexpected. You know, like this could happen. You can run into an encounter with the white cop and not know, you know, what's going to happen. And there may not be any justice for what had happened to you. So, I mean, and then you could be doing something so simple, driving your car, you forget to put on a turn signal or whatever, or you accidentally go through a stoplight or whatever, you're getting pulled over. That may be your last day breathing, you know? So I feel like now we have the conversation more. Like, this is what,
About
you
the
know,
police.
about the police. Yeah. Because it's so frequent,
You
you
have
know?
a brother that's in college. You have a nephew that's in college. I have a son who's living outside of Philly. He's just living life. They go to parties.
Yeah.
They socialize.
Yeah.
Somebody could, and we have 3 minutes, but somebody could walk up to them that is their own color, their own race, and say something to them. What are you preparing them with? How are you equipping them? How are you getting them prepared for those types of scenarios? Because it's easy for us to say, look, when they stop you, you have your ID, you keep your hands on the steering wheel, you say yes sir, no sir, don't look them in the eye, you know, whatever. We're giving them book cover to cover.
Right.
When it comes to being in the hood or encountering whatever, how are we equipping them, Sean?
We definitely equip them. We always equip them for what's going on, because 9 times out of 10, when you see when there's a murder in the Black community, people know who did it. We just don't speak up about it.
Right.
So we've already equipped them for when they were a kid. They know about that.
Yeah.
And they can tell you, people can tell you who shot someone in our community. It happens all the time. So that one right there, we don't really have to have that speech, because they learned that early on, just by living. The other thing with the police officers is that, okay, so sometimes some kids are put into situations, or they're somewhere maybe they shouldn't have been, and they got killed. But what if you're just driving? You're not thinking, you're not even on the lookout for that. There's certain neighborhoods as Black people, some Black people are not going to ride because they know it's an okay corral in that neighborhood. But if you're going to a certain neighborhood and you're just driving, you're not. So you have to have that talk. You know, they're more aware of their surroundings when they're in our community. So that talk is an easy talk. Like, you know, you don't want to go on that street because, you know, the gang members have that one. We have that talk. We know that. They had that since they were in kindergarten. But now it's a different one. It's like, okay, so you're not going to even be doing anything. You know, you could just be walking down the street with a hoodie on and just getting Skittles. You know, you could just be pulled over. So, yeah, it's a different talk. It's a totally different talk. I didn't have to have anything different with my nephew. I told him when he was a kid, like, stay out of trouble. Don't hang around this group. Don't do that. Then when he got older, I'm like, put your hand on the steering wheel. I never thought I was going to have that. You know, I told him who to look for. I told him what they look like. I told him what the names were. Then now I'm saying, well, you know, he might come in a cop car, which is supposed to be a safe thing. You know, and most people see a cop, they be like, oh, okay, it's the cops. The cops is here.
Right. You're supposed to feel safe. Now you don't. Like, I get so much anxiety when there is a cop car behind me. Like, my heart skips a beat. Like, it just, because you just don't know. And there's there's still so many races coming. Let's bring it back. Like, back in the day, these cops were a part of the KKK, these judges, these lawyers, like we
It's
don't
still the
ever
same.
know they're still, and they still are, you know what I mean? Like there was KKK people here last weekend, and that freaked me out because I'm like, I didn't know this was still here up north, you know what I mean? But then again, I thought there was like over 40 something hate groups in Pennsylvania alone.
Wow.
So it's just, you don't feel safe when there's a cop around, or where there's a cop, riding behind you or following you, whatever. I don't feel safe. Like I get scared. Like I said, I pray about it. I'm like, Lord, please, like, you don't know what type of cop he is. He could be having a bad day and just decide to want to pull you over just because you're black and you're driving a nice car in the hood. That happened to me plenty of times, so it's scary. It is. You're not even scared of the gangbangers and the thugs in the hood anymore. Like, we used to that. Like, we grew up around that. We
Right.
scared cops. You know what I mean? Like, I feel more safe in this neighborhood knowing that there's drug dealers here, there's someone that's a gangbanger. Nothing ain't gonna happen to me. I grew up around this. But when it comes to a cop,
Because most of the time, the gangbangers, all that, they're going after their own anyway.
they're one, yeah.
Sometimes and it's sad, but
there's a innocent bystander.
Yeah, but they're
Imagine-
kind of much territorial into their own thing. So we taught our. But it happens on so many levels. It's not even the police we have to be afraid of or be suspicious. If you're here in Pittsburgh, how many like corporate companies have zero to no Black employees or Black professionals, or we're in a certain place. So it's on different levels. I'm not afraid of cops or anything like that. That doesn't bother me. I'm okay with that. I'm angry with businesses here. I'm angry with corporations and companies here that don't have any of us representing them. And if they do, it's a temporary job. They haven't hired us full time. And a temp agency brought us in, not them. It's a temp agency that brought us in. And so, things like that. We just have a lot of growing to do.
We do.
Well, I agree. And I think that just moving into our final segment, I want to ask if you think that America owes Colin Kaepernick an apology.
Well,
we're going to take our last break. And
okay.
I got to breathe.
Take a knee.
Oh, man.
Take a knee, sis.
Woo-cha.
We'll be right back. It's the Hey Girl Hey podcast on Urban Media Today. Jerry said, woo.